open with a meditation, then some time to maybe chat if there's any want for that, and then we'll end with a another kind of meditation as well. Um, so yeah, my name is LB. I probably should start with that if you don't know me. Um, but yeah, let's start. So I'll invite us all just to come into a comfortable posture. You might be in there already, but if you're finding that you're not that comfortable, the one nice thing about our situation is that we could like lie down in a bed if we want to. We can come into a comfortable place and wherever we are right now, seated, standing. You could turn the video off. So there's no right or wrong with that. Um, because this practice is really about checking in rather than checking out, I will encourage you to set yourself up in a way that won't induce sleep. Um, so, whatever that means for you. And then eyes can close if that's comfortable. You can also keep them open, or if they are remaining open, I'll just encourage you to take a soft downward gaze where you're not really focusing on anything. And then we'll start by stopping. So, physically allowing yourself to come into some semblance of stillness. So, that might mean shifting and moving a little bit first before stopping or before coming into stillness, so that you can really allow your body to begin to soften and to settle. So, allowing whatever is supporting you to do all the work for you, as much of the work as possible. So, allowing the muscular energy or an engagement in your body to begin to release, into the chair or the ground or the bed or whatever is holding you. And as we're allowing our physical body to soften and to settle, allowing your mind to begin to enter this world of being rather than doing, fixing, analyzing, figuring out. So, releasing as much effort as you can in that area as well by intentionally setting aside your to do list, preoccupations, expectations, worries, as best as you possibly can, just for now. Taking a few deep breaths to signal to your body that it's okay to turn off that fight or flight response. Deepening the breath to trigger our parasympathetic part uh, of our stress response, the system in our body that's responsible for feelings of calm, feelings of comfort and safety. Breathing in a sense of spaciousness, calm, of steadiness. Allowing that exhale to take away stale air, stale thoughts, worries, tensions. Inhaling a full deep breath in, followed by a longer, slower, deeper exhale. One more deep, intentional breath here together. And then, as you're ready, letting go of that deep breath and just allowing your body to breathe effortlessly, naturally. As we take a moment to check in, to observe, maybe for the first time all day or first time in past couple of days, just noting what you might be carrying with you right now. Thoughts, feelings, tensions, worries in your body, in your mind, in your heart. Just taking this time to non judgmentally observe what's here for you. And releasing the pressure of needing to figure out why it's there or to fix it or to change it. Just softening into letting it be. You don't have to like it if it's discomfort in any way, but shifting away from fighting it or forcing it and allowing it space to be. And as we allow our current experience to just be, and that's not easy, I just want to mention that it's not easy to just let it be. I'll encourage us all to proceed with our awareness, our presence, back to just our breathing, letting everything else begin to fade into the background and allowing the sensations of our breathing to take center stage of our awareness. Perhaps noticing where you feel your breath most vividly right now. The tip of your nose, the rise and fall of your chest, or maybe it's the expansion and contraction in your belly. Or maybe somewhere else is calling you. So wherever you could tap into your breath most vividly, the sensations, I invite you to let your awareness to rest right there and bringing a sense of curiosity to the changing rhythm and sensations of your breath at that part of your body. Noticing if you're thinking or wondering, did something happen to my Zoom? Is she still there? Or if you're off to thinking about what you're having for dinner, the mind is wandering past future, totally okay. It's the practice, right? It's the wandering. We notice, we recognize, there it goes. Maybe with a slight smile, with a playfulness. You notice that it's gone to the same place again and again. Without critiquing, without judging, we get to begin again in that moment of awakening and redirect our awareness to where we want it to be. And for our purposes right now, the sensations of the rise and fall of our breathing. Staying with this full inhale, and staying with just this full exhale. And this inhale, and this exhale. One breath at a time, one moment at a time. As we come towards the end of this meditation, I invite you to recognize the courage it takes to turn inward during such an uncertain, difficult time when sometimes we just want to turn away. We don't want to dip into the water to see what's here because it could be really scary. But by the only way that through it is by going into it, into ourselves, and recognizing what is here through a lens of kindness, compassion, and care. And as you feel ready, if your eyes are closed, I invite you to blink them back open and come into your space, wherever that may be. Maybe just noticing what, if anything, has shifted in the last 10 or so minutes. Taking a little stretch, a couple deep breaths. All right, so I just you know keep coming back to this monthly theme of reclaiming calm, and it's so apt for me right now because there's so many moments of chaos in my life, and really thinking about, so I have a 3-year-old daughter, and most of you know that, Layla, and she's awesome, but also something else at times. And we've been doing this. She has this pink little castle. It's like a bigger castle. She can fit into it, and I lately been calling it her mindfulness castle, because when she just gets overwhelmed with emotion that she just doesn't have the tools to regulate, and it's just everything's too much for her. um, we've been like saying, like, Layla, why don't you go into your mindfulness castle and take a couple deep breaths and just chill out in there. And she'll stomp in there, pull open the little curtain, and and she goes in there and she's like throwing this tantrum. She's a mess. I mean, and like, I'm a mess, and I say we are, as in my husband, we're losing it as well. We're all like dysregulated with emotions. And she'll actually go in there for however long, and who knows what she does in there. Maybe she takes some deep breaths, but she comes out like this totally new being. And she's like reclaimed her calm center somehow. And it's really made me think, like, she has us, her parents right now, to like recognize for her, like, you're freaking out, we're freaking out, like, we need to somehow figure this out. And it made me think about, like, the first step in reclaiming calm is to be able to recognize when we're not calm, and that's a really hard place to be. And so for Layla, we kind of recognize it for her, and ourselves aren't calm either, and we can help her make this choice to get into this little mindfulness castle and find peace in a way. um, so I'm just going to kind of pose this question for our check-in, and you don't have to check in around it, but what helps you recognize that place when we're not calm? And what are some ways right now that you are kind of reclaiming your calm or finding peace. And again, no pressure to share or to check in, but if it calls to you, or if you're thinking about something or something around that meditation we just did, I'll invite this time and space to say what's on your mind, your heart, if it calls to you. All right.
Yeah, I also notice like sometimes if I'm really stressed or like emotionally overwhelmed, I sometimes get this like sinking feeling like in my like I don't know where it is, but it feels like it's like my heart, but it's like just some kind of like sinking feeling. It's like it's hard to really like recognize. And I've noticed that if I just try to distract myself, it kind of just like builds it up instead of like when I turn to it and I recognize what I'm actually feeling, then I can be at peace with it and I can understand it and not let it really overtake me in my actions. But if I just try to distract myself and do something else, it just kind of builds up, and then at the point of like where it's like I can't take it anymore, it becomes much worse. So I try to like I've been trying, especially in these times, to just like check in with myself much more often than I would normally, because there's just so much stress and emotions going around it. I feel it's been really necessary for me.
You and me both, Max. Right. If last calls for anyone else to, if it's anything percolating that want to share out. All right. Um, so I think it can be, our kind of automatic nature is when things get, I know when things get kind of heavy, when it just feels all too much, we can kind of go on this automatic of just like do, and just keep busy and keep like staying on the surface. And I can just kind of bypass it if I just keep propelling forward. Um, I know that's called to me at sometimes, and then it reaches a threshold of like I am going to burst if something doesn't shift or change. And often, I've noticed, especially with this rain practice of this, like, what is going on for me right now? I'm so tense and tight and just dipping in. And I hope I'm not calling you out, Tad, by saying this. He gave this great, like, kind of a, not an analogy, I'm losing the word. Um, but thinking of like a lake or a pond that we just want to like skim the surface and get through it as quick as we can, and this idea of sinking into ourselves, of sinking underneath the surface of the water, can be really scary, but it can just open up ourselves to what is there and what needs attention and what needs some nurturing. um, and I think that's just like this idea of self-compassion, the to be able to offer ourselves that pink castle, that mindfulness castle, that thing that reclaims calm. We need to pause, to check in, like Max, you were saying, maybe more and more, to recognize, what am I feeling? Here's anger, here's sadness, I'm grieving, um, and just to recognize that it's here. And then the other kind of two pieces of self-compassion is to notice and to recognize, like, especially now in our current situation, like, I'm really not alone in this. I might think some people have it worse, and there might be judgments and I shouldn't be reacting this way. But the self-compassion piece is like, seeing if we can release those judgments, recognizing we're all going through this in some capacity. And then to maybe ask ourselves, what do I most need right now? What is one way I can nurture myself? Is it touching some soft fabric? Is it telling myself words of encouragement? Is it placing a hand on my heart and taking a couple of deep breaths? Is it allowing myself to cry? Is it giving myself permission to feel this, actually saying, like, why wouldn't you be feeling this? Validating, and then softening into that space for as long as you need. So, in our final 6 minutes or so, we're just going to end with just a brief loving kindness meditation, in inviting ourselves some of that compassion. Um, so, I'll invite you to find that comfortable posture once again. If you need to leave right at 4, feel free to get off the Zoom meeting. But if you have time to check in after, I'll be hanging out for a little bit too. So just to preface that with this. So as you're ready and finding that comfortable seated position or standing or lying down, perhaps letting your eyes close or remain open. Begin just drawing your awareness to your feet, noticing what your feet know, the touch of ground, the touch of air or shoe or sock, tingling, pulsation, heaviness. Spreading your awareness from your feet and into your sitting bones. Not needing to change anything, but just noticing how the weight is distributed in this part of your body. Heaviness, lightness, equal weight on both sides, as one side holding more weight than the other. And feeling into your shoulders, and noticing if there's tightness or tension, and what happens when you just notice if that's present. And finally, bringing awareness into your hands, noticing how they're resting. And then a couple options here. You're welcome to keep your hands just as they are. You're welcome to place one hand inside one of another. Or you're even welcome to draw your hands to your heart center, or one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Something that is comforting and nurturing for you. If there's an aversion in any way to any of these options, then choosing something that feels comfortable. And then beginning to breathe and feel your breath. If your hands are on your belly or your heart, perhaps feeling the rise and fall of the body moving in through your hands. Noticing warmth, sense of touch. And then I'll encourage you to offer yourself up this sense of goodwill and kindness through repetition of the following phrases. Repeat it silently to and for yourself. You're welcome to change the words if something else calls to you. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be at comfort and at ease. May I be as happy and healthy as possible. May I no peace. May I be filled with love and kindness. May I be at comfort and at ease. May I be as happy and healthy as possible. May I know peace. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be at comfort and at ease. May I be as happy and healthy as possible. May I know peace. And just envisioning yourself as best as you can, as though these qualities are here right now. They're not in some other place or when things get better, but they are here with you now. What does it feel and look like? And then letting it be. And we'll end with one final round that includes ourselves as well as anyone else in our world that could use this, which I think is everyone in the world. So may all beings be filled with love and kindness. May all beings be at comfort and ease. May all beings be as healthy and happy as possible. May all beings know peace. And if eyes are closed, gently opening them back up. Thank you all.